It's time for the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Powerful and liberating business strategies you can start in 5 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, Dean Soto.
Hey, this is Dean Soto, founder of FreedomIn5Minutes.com and Prosulum.com, Prosulum.com. And we're here again with another Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode. Today's topic is this. You don't know what you have in your garden. Therefore, everything is a weed. That and more coming up. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Hey, if you have not subscribed to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast, go to Google, type in Freedom in 5 Minutes, and then type in your favorite podcasting application, such as Spotify or Stitcher or Apple Podcasts, and go and subscribe to this podcast. Okay, it's paramount. It is something you must do. Just kidding. You don't have to. So I'm out with the Lunameister as usual. Lunameister and I are having some good old fun on the acreage. I see her sniffing around about 200 yards from me. So good. All right, cool. So, so for about the last year, I've been doing a lot of research on, and I mentioned this before in a previous podcast, but I've been doing a lot of research on food forests. Like, these are forests, like woods. Like, these are forests, Forests, food forests. So forests, so a food forest essentially is you're utilizing Mother Nature in the way that she already grows things to grow edible stuff, to grow lettuces, cabbage, beans, to grow fruit, to grow all, just a wide variety of different things, right? And so the interesting thing is this. So the concept works. The concept is awesome. There's tons of stuff out there that show you how to do food forests. So for me, with these food forests, I started planting. I got these seeds off of Amazon. It's like a survival garden and herb garden, all this other stuff. And it was literally thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of seeds, right? I got, all in all, it cost about $45 for all of these thousands of seeds. And they're heirloom seeds. They're non-GMO, which is great. And then on the flip side, I got those same seeds for my wife, right? And so she started planting, and I started planting these seeds. I started planting a food forest. She, on the other hand, thanks to her loving husband, thanks to her handy-dandy loving husband, has a garden enclosure so nothing can get in, that also has these 2 foot high raised garden beds so that she doesn't have to bend over and crouch down or anything like that, right? So we both started planting, and one thing I noticed, one thing I realized after I started planting was something that my wife knew right away. We are not experts in gardens, and we do not know what the things look like that we plant. And so if we plant these seeds, one of the things that it was going to be a problem was trying to discern the weeds from the actual good stuff, right? I don't want to see what Luna has, but it looks like she just is tearing up some kind of wild animal. Because she's chewing something. Anyway, I'll let her do her thing. Which is, okay. I'm just going to go and do my podcast over here. So, at least I don't have to give her any food this morning. Nice. So, where was I? So, she knew right away. She knew that was going to be the case. And so, what did she do? She started putting up these cute little signs. They almost look like little cartoon characters that showed whether it was kale or lettuce or broccoli or spinach or what else did we plant? Beans. She put these cute little tiny signs that were just, perfect. They were perfect for this, for knowing what the heck you just planted in that particular garden bed. And as the things started growing and started getting bigger, and you knew where the weeds were and where they weren't. Okay. I, on the other hand, in my infinite wisdom, my genius wisdom, I went to my food forest, utilizing trees that were already there, because that's one of the things you can do, utilizing areas that are already good to make a food forest, because you need to have large trees, you need to have smaller trees, and you need to have brush and so on and so forth. I'm utilizing all these areas, putting seeds all over the place in a variety of ways, and after planting everything, I realized this is a place where a lot of weeds grow, and how am I going to know what is what? Because I don't even know what certain cabbages look like or certain cantaloupe as they're growing. So there is a real risk. There is a real risk that over time, we're getting miner's lettuce. See, this is a good example. This is a great example right now. Is I'm looking at this stuff called miner's lettuce. That if you didn't know what it was, you would think it was just some weed. But this is natural, lettuce. Natural lettuce that grows, and I'm going to actually eat one right now. Yummy. This is natural lettuce that grows in the wild. It's like, it has like this circular, a circular bulb. And you can actually take it, eat it, and it's good. It's actually really good for you. Tastes like a mix of lettuce and celery, I guess. But here, I run the real risk of not knowing if that's a weed or not, and literally destroying productive stuff. And so I was on the phone with a client who was very, very anti-new technology, very anti-Google Docs, very anti-Google Drive, very anti this and that. Because one, he doesn't want to change, and two, because he's done everything the old way, and one of the things that he was almost about to, so he was writing this document. He was writing this document, and he spent about 3 hours writing it, which you should never do, but he's in the mode of doing it. He really just, that's the way he is. And he'll admit it. He admits it, that he's in this habit of writing all these processes and documents and stuff. That's not how you should do it. It should be through video and let somebody else document it. But he knows that's his habit, and he's trying to beat it. And so he did all of this outline on Google Docs, spent about 3 or 4 hours doing it, then went back and couldn't find, it had disappeared. Now, he wanted to get rid of Google Docs now. He's like, I'm tired of Google Docs. I'm done. It's horrible, blah, blah, blah. because he didn't know any better. He didn't know that it basically keeps a version of pretty much everything that you type. So I just sent him a little thing that allows him to go back and check out different versions of what he was typing, right? And so for him, he can easily go and, oh, I accidentally deleted that there, or here's all the stuff that I have. That is one tiny little benefit of Google Docs, when there's tons of other benefits as well, keeping you in the 21st century, Yet, because he didn't know about any of that, he could have very easily uprooted that whole entire system that he was building, because he thought that Google Docs essentially was a weed, right? It was essentially a bad product, something that was not going to work for his business, something that was more of a hindrance than a help, right? And the same thing goes with my garden. If I don't know that something is edible, if I don't know when to pick and eat that thing, because it might be edible, but I might not pick it at the right time or season, right? If I don't know any of that stuff, if I don't understand that, then I'm screwed, because I could accidentally go and uproot something that, had I waited 2 more weeks, would have been completely edible and would have brought more seeds and more production and gave us the ability to plant more in the thousands, right? And so one of the big things that we have to do as business owners and as people in general is we have to know, rather than just trusting other people, because this is the other thing, is trusting other people to tell us what to do. We actually have to know the things that are around us. This is something that once, as people got more and more into the city, I'm starting to realize that a big disadvantage of people who live in the city is that they're not close to their food, they're not close to their shelter, they're not close to their warmth, they're not close to their water. And as soon as you move out into the country, you have to get very intimate with stuff like that, right? You have to start understanding that, because it's a matter of life and death, or it's a matter of just massive discomfort or comfort, right? And so it is definitely a big consideration whenever you're starting something, whenever you're in business, to see all of the options, all of the alternatives that you have, because as soon as you do, you are going to, you're at least going to know when something is a benefit and when something is not. Okay. It's very easy to look at an oregano plant and think that it's just like the weed that's right next to it. Okay. And to uproot both. When that oregano has healing properties, it has cooking properties, it has a whole bunch of different things. Okay. So what right now are you doing in your business that you're using, but you really haven't even looked fully into what it is? We get this all the time with our virtual systems architects. Our guys, our people will just, they tend to have one way of using them, and that's it. And it's one of the reasons why we're building a community for all of our clients to be able to grow their business in a variety of ways that they didn't expect. Okay. So what's one thing that you can do right now where you can go and investigate and see more about all of the different possibilities of something that you're using? I challenge you to go do that and see really what the full aspect of what you have at your disposal is, because once you do that, you're going to find that there are many, many, many things that you weren't quite considering, and many things that could potentially benefit you now that you possibly you might have even uprooted in the future. All right, so this is Dean Soto. Freedom in 5 minutes. Go check out freedomin5minutes.com. Go check out prosulum.com, prosulum.com. Lots of cool stuff over there. Go check that out. And I will see you in the next Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode.
Thanks for listening to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Now, head over to www.freedomin5minutes.com and register for our free masterclass and discover how to start systemizing and automating your entire business 5 minutes at a time. We'll see you next time on the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast.